So, this is the Poco X4 Pro 5G. And let me ask you a question. So, if you have to make a 5G phone, what would you put in it? 120 Hz AMOLED display, stereo speakers, ultra wide angle camera, 67 watt fast charging, right? Well, first of all, thank God it's a big box. You have the phone, a squarish case, but a good quality case, yeah. Some paperwork, USB A to Type-C cable, 67 watt charger. Now, the phone, if you see, you have this glossy back. It does collect a bit of fingerprint, see? But due to this glossy back, Poco X4 Pro has like a mirror finish. And see, as I shift the phone, you see the pattern? It looks like dancing lights. By the way, it has a glass back, plastic frame, and Corning Gorilla Glass 5 display protection on the front. Now, see, an interesting thing is, if you see a Poco phone, you know it's a Poco phone. You have a USB-C port at the bottom and also a hybrid SIM card slot, so 2 SIM cards or 1 SIM card plus micro SD card. Now, you also have an IR blaster at the top. Now, one of the few things that you don't see in a budget 5G phone is 120 Hz AMOLED display. Now, we came here outdoors just to check how bright is the display outdoors, and as you can see, since it's an AMOLED display, the brightness is pretty good under direct sunlight, and the display can go as bright as 1200 nits peak brightness. You get stereo speakers, and here, have a listen to this. Surprisingly, the audio is well separated and it is loud enough for bedroom, bathroom, hall. Basically, it's a good speaker. I also checked wideband L1 support, and it runs 1080p footage on Netflix as well as Prime Video. Now, there's no HDR support for YouTube, but that's another limitation with Snapdragon 695. Now, on the same topic, the Poco X4 Pro comes with Snapdragon 695, 6GB LPDDR4X RAM, 128GB UFS 2.2 storage. Now, in the CPU throttling test, you see it throttled to 74%. Now, I've seen 695 perform a bit better. So to understand, I ran Antutu again, and it scored about 3,37,257. Snapdragon 695 scores higher, around 4 lakh. Then see here, you have this performance mode in battery setting, and there is not much improvement in the score. It's 3,73,971, slightly better. But how about BGMI? Because everyone plays BGMI until Apex Legends comes to India. So you get smooth graphics and ultra frame rate, 40 FPS.
Dead. Target down. Nice shot.
So the gameplay for 40 FPS is really good. Of course, it is 40 FPS. I didn't notice any lag or stutter. And I've also turned on gyro because people use gyro to shoot. I'm kind of getting used to it. Now, for other games, we have already done a video on Snapdragon 695 game support, gaming performance. Overall, if I would say, the Snapdragon 695 has its limitation, but the in-game performance is actually good for the price. Now, you would be like, Poco X3 Pro had Snapdragon 860. So, is this more powerful than the Poco X3 Pro? Well, no. But Poco X3 Pro had a 120Hz LCD display, and to be honest, it was kind of a huge device, 216 grams. Like, I personally don't like huge phones, and I wouldn't carry that in my pocket. And this Poco X4 Pro seems like a good handy device. Now, are phones getting costly? Rebranding and all of that? Well, we'll talk about that in just a bit. And the camera is where the things get really interesting. You have a 64 megapixel AI triple camera. And surprisingly, the photo come out really good. Like, see here in Manu's photo, you have a bright sky behind, but the HDR is really good. And even I like the skin tone on the photo. There's a small halo if you can see, but it's fine at this price range. We also took some more photos, and I noticed that it takes a bit of boosted and a bit saturated photos. Like, my t-shirt is not that yellow as you see in this photo, but it looks eye-pleasing. Also, I noticed that in portrait mode, it tries to brighten up the face a bit, so the photo overall looks bright, and the colors also look a bit different from the normal photo mode. Also, you get a 8 megapixel ultra wide angle camera, which is sort of new to budget 5G phones, but it's like a 8 megapixel ultra wide angle camera. The photos come out good in good daylight conditions. They are a bit soft because 8 megapixel, but overall you can use them once in a while. The photos are good. And you get a 16 megapixel front selfie camera. You can have an idea of the mic quality, and it's same 1080p 30 fps. The photos come out good, they are sharp. I really like the colors on the one, but it's a bit faded if you compare the photo to the rear camera footage. It should have been more consistent. And of course, you have a 2 megapixel macro camera over here and this AI text over here because it's important. So it comes with MIUI 13 based on Android 11 right out of the box. Now MIUI 13 is good because the previous Poco phones came with MIUI 12.5. But Android 11, well, we asked Poco, and as per them, they are currently testing the Android 12 version, so the update should be out pretty soon. But it's 2022 and it's about time smartphone companies should give Android 12 right out of the box. Now in day-to-day usage, the 120Hz screen works really well, the swipe up, gestures, everything. As of now, early impressions, I didn't find any bug. And one of the really good features of MIUI 13 is you can uninstall system apps like calculator, something as compass. So it lets you uninstall a lot of system apps as well. You get pretty few bloatwares which can be easily uninstalled this way. And you also get a 5000 mAh battery with 67 watt fast charging. Now we tried charging it 0 to 100 and it takes about 40 minutes. You also get all the important sensors. Now I have to check if the proximity sensor works good with calling. We'll do that in a later video. And you get 4G plus carrier aggregation. I checked with my Jio SIM. And you also get 7 bands of 5G, which is enough. And you get a side mounted fingerprint scanner, and just like any other side mounted fingerprint scanner, it's fast. See? Tap, done. Now see, Poco X4 Pro is a rebrand of Redmi Note 11 Pro Plus. It just looks different from the back. And Snapdragon 695 is a good 5G chip, but it has a few limitations like no 4K recording, no 60 FPS in BGMI, which is fine for a phone under 16 to 17,000. But if you're paying 22 to 23,000, it doesn't make sense. Now, I'm not aware of the price of the Poco X4 Pro, but as per rumors, I believe it should be around 21,000 or even less with offers and all of that. And if you want 5G, 120Hz AMOLED display, good stereo speakers and 67 watt fast charging, well, this is what you get. And about phones getting pricier, last year you had Snapdragon 860 in Poco X3 Pro under 20,000, right? Well, the inflation, chip shortage is now getting into smartphones, and we have said again and again, smartphones are going to be costly this year. We'll soon be doing a video of best smartphones under 20K where I'll use this phone for a bit and try to add all the pros and cons of it. So stay tuned for that. On that note, this is Vinny signing off. See you in the next video. Pew pew.